Hey, Rochester, we are the WDKX Wake Up Club, and every day here on the show, we do a number of different things, but we take one of the topics from the show and put it in what's called the after show. Tariq Spence with your DJ site. Today's is, I guess it's been a week of Dum Dum of the Days, but we've taken some other stories as well.
Yes, and today's story has to do with a young lady who's a former 911 operator from Texas. Now, she was arrested. She was found guilty and she was sentenced to 10 days in jail, 18 months probation. She has to take decision-making classes and write an apology after hanging up on people calling 911 for help. Now, people were calling in with everything from robberies to stolen cars to murders. This lady did this for over a year, and records show that she did this on thousands of calls.
All right, so there are certain positions and jobs where, and I don't know what they are off the top of my head, where you can just check out and operate for the day or operate on 50% or whatever. That's not one of them. We talked about this on the show. When people call 911, they're in the worst possible situation when they do it. We're talking anybody who needs a police officer, firefighter, EMT worker. Those are just the top three off the list. Right. They're calling 911 for that. To call and then get hung up on, just puts an embarrassing amount of pressure on the system, because you still have to have the cop that shows up or the firefighter that shows up or the person. And then they're wondering why they hung up on them, not realizing that 911 operator isn't directly connected to the police.
Right.
They work with independent people in between that communicate this to the emergency.
Right. They're like the middle person.
The middle person.
But if the middle person doesn't pass the message along and you're sitting here, you know, maybe you're having a medical emergency, maybe you're just robbed, something, maybe you need to say, you know, somebody else's life is in danger. But if that message is not getting passed over to police, if that message is not getting passed over to EMTs or the fire department, that could be a real tragedy.
And so when the authorities do show up, people feel some sort of way because they've already been rejected to a certain extent without it being the cops or the fire department or the ambulance's fault. That being said, though, I do understand that there are people that will check out of jobs. For whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was for this and all for this going on for, you said over a year, right?
Over a year.
Okay. All right. A week, I understand. Month, maybe I get it, depending on the circumstances. Months, we got a real serious issue. A year of non-giving service to the community who needs it the most. Like when I don't call 911 just because I need a buddy. I call 911 because I really need emergency help.
I remember when I was in grade school, and I remember we was a bunch of badass kids. I remember the bus driver. I don't know if the bus driver was going through something, because, you know, back then, you know, we really didn't talk about mental health like that. I remember the kids were just on 10. The bus driver pulled over and said, "I'm sick of this ish," and walked off.
And left you guys on the bus?
Left a bunch of fifth.
How the hell did you get home?
Fourth. Somebody saw him walk off and they came on the bus and said, "You guys okay?"
No.
We're like, "No, we have a bus driver. What happened?" And then, you know, the kids were acting up and, you know, people came and they got us home.
Wow. That's another one of those jobs where you really can't check out. Your job is to get kids from point A to point B safely and then back. So that's another non-checkout job. Nursing, doctor, you can't really check out. But I'm concerned, Sight, for the people that do have these sort of checkout jobs, right? Where it isn't life or death like this 911 operator. AI gonna take that.
And that's the thing. We sit here and we talk and we fight for AI not taking jobs, right? Because then if AI takes all the jobs, then there's millions of people in this country, right, that will be out of a job, right?
And then who gonna pay for what?
Who's gonna pay for what, right? Because you see with the administration that we have in now, they're just slashing funding for everything, so everybody can't get a government assistance.
Yeah, it's gonna turn into the Wild West. I'm really concerned about it, because I'm not quite sure if people who are in the ivory tower know what people deal with on a daily basis and don't know the connecting points, which makes me a little bit concerned about how you're going to be able to govern if you don't understand the everyday American person when you say you think you do.
I got a solution for myself, DJ Sight.
What's that?
I'm going to get me a wife in Canada. Benefits are free. The pressure of being a black man in America is no longer here. And I'm still close to home.
You gonna turn into one of them passport bros?
Of
Is
course.
that what you're? Oh, God.
Of course.
you know what's gonna happen? He gonna leave me. He ain't coming back.
Yeah,
That's what
like
it
good old
is.
Canadian bacon.
You mean to tell me this is how people are living outside of the United States? I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, this lady lost the job. Hopefully, in the future, people can not have these sort of situations pop up because we desperately need the services. You're listening to WDKX podcast show. Make sure you tune in and subscribe right there and let us know what you want to talk about with WDKX.